Good morning. It is Thursday. It's Thursday, and you are watching Kwak TV because why watch crap TV when you can watch Kwak TV with me, Callum of K? And honestly, what a fabulous week it has been. So if you are watching this live, make sure you jump in the comments, say good morning to me, tell me who you are, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you're drinking, what you're having for your breakfast, how's your week been so far, tell me everything. I'm feeling nosy. I am feeling very nosy today. If you are watching this on replay, please make sure you put hashtag replay in the comments later because I do like to know who stalks me. And also, remember, you can catch this on my Facebook page. You can catch this in my Facebook group, which is at the very top. You can catch this on my YouTube channel. You can catch this on LinkedIn. You can catch it everywhere. Oh, so first of all, who we've got? Good morning, Mr. Rob Lee, who is drinking coffee this morning. Good morning, Mr. Quackers, who I was just speaking about and is currently at work. So that means he must be on his break. Or just skiving in the warehouse. Who knows? Currently cutting ceiling tiles. Once again, Facebook user, I don't know who you are. So this means you need to go to the very top, click the little more button, and click StreamYard approve me by the link that is there. Or you can just put your name in the chat. I don't mind. Either way, just tell me who you are, Facebook user. So, cutting ceiling tiles. I understand you're probably cutting them to go on your ceiling, but why are you cutting ceiling tiles? Makes sense. Oh, it's Lee. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. Rob's telling me it's Lee. Yeah. Lee, carry on cutting your ceiling tiles, love. You go for it. Mr. Quackers is skiving. What can we expect? So, today it is Thursday. Like I said, we are one day off finishing the working week for most people. And as I said yesterday, have you made this week count? What have you done? It is also random act of kindness week this week as well. Have you done a random act of kindness? I was speaking to the Mr. Quackers this week about it, or just beginning of this week. And I was like, what would you class as a random act of kindness? And he was like, oh, well, leaving a random bunch of flowers on someone's doorstep. I was like, well, actually, you could maybe go a bit further than that. Like, buy a bunch of flowers, but maybe take a flower out of it and leave that on someone's doorstep. Maybe with a little note around it saying random act of kindness. You know, random act of kindness week, people. Do it. Why not? Don't have to break the bank for it. So today, before I bring our guest on, who is the one and only Ruth Buckley, and I cannot wait. She's a lovely, lovely lady, and she's also got a squish just like mine. Mine's a bit mucky, but she's got a squish just like mine, and I love it. If you don't know, you don't know. So yes, so I'm going to be bringing Ruth on, where we will be talking about how small businesses also need to think about their HR, and it's not going to be boring because Ruth is not boring. Let me promise you. So. Before that, every day on Kwak TV, I do the different days of the year. So different days of the year is a website. You can go and look on there yourself. And every day of the year has a different theme. It has a different holiday. It has something different altogether. And I just find it really interesting. And sometimes it's really good for your socials. So I keep saying the word so a lot, don't I? This morning, or today, should I say, it is. Oh, I'll say that one last, actually. It is Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Yep, Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. It is Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. Okay, that's a bit political. It's also Battery Day. I think it's recycle your old batteries and make sure that your old ones are thingy. Yep. It is also Pluto Day, celebrating the planet Pluto. And then it is also, are you ready for this one? This is the good one. Drink Wine Day. It is also Drink Wine Day. This Ruth backstage, like, yes, we like Drink Wine Day. Pardon me, I've got my peppermint hot beverage in case Natalia's watching and she has a go at me again. Oh, Drink Wine Day. Ain't every day Drink Wine Day. Anyway, so, honestly, I'm saying so loads, aren't I? You know when you know you're saying something a lot, but you can't stop yourself from saying it? However, anyway, other connectives. I do look at different hashtags on Twitter every day as well. What is trending and how can you utilize them for your business as well? So today, your trending hashtags are as follows. We've got hashtag Thursday morning. We've got hashtag delete Facebook as well. What's that all about? Oh, let's have a little skeg at that one. It's because Facebook apparently is getting political. So people are saying delete Facebook. It's stopping people sharing things to do with a certain type of politics. There we go. It is also hashtag Thursday thoughts. It is also hashtag a song or movie for wine in conjunction with Wine Day. It is hashtag Thursday motivation, and that is it. So, hashtag Thursday morning, hashtag delete Facebook, hashtag Thursday thoughts, hashtag a song or movie for wine, which once again is in conjunction with have a glass of wine day or bottle, hashtag Thursday motivation. Oh, I do love doing these every morning. Honestly, Kara's like, Drink Wine Day, I'm here. Obviously, you just tuned in as I'm mentioning wine, Cara. You know, I could have been mentioning gin, but hey her. First of all, good morning, Cara. Secondly, that really doesn't shock me. But yes, Lee, you're one short when cutting your ceiling tiles. Bless your little cotton socks. So today's guest, I'm not going to hover around for much longer, is the one and only Ruth Buckley, who I'll bring on in a moment. And I absolutely love this lady. And the reason I love her is because, you know, she's a very lovely person, first of all. But she really, really does promote what, you know, helping small, medium businesses, but also larger businesses. But she really, really does help businesses. So, with no further ado, hopefully I'm not going to catch her off guard. Let me bring her on. Good morning, Ruth.
Hi, Callum. I wouldn't let you catch me off guard. I know what you like.
How are you, my love? Are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, lovely morning.
It's not lovely here. It's not lovely.
Oh, well,
I love it. I've got a live weather forecast because of my window. I'm like, no, it's not that good today. We've got really tall trees, so I can see how windy it is as well. It's great. So Ruth, if people don't know who you are or what you do, who are you and what do you do, my love?
So after 20 years of corporate HR, I got out of the rat race and started my own little consultancy firm 2 years ago in April. So nearly at 2 years, and I'm still going. But I do focus on helping micro and small businesses with their HR and just using my general business knowledge sometimes as well. Having worked in businesses, then you pick up other things as well, not just the HR.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask you the elephant in the room question. How has the past 12-ish months been for you? How has it been? Obviously, especially in HR, because you would have been looking at a lot, you know, just in case people don't know what HR stands for human resources. But also, like, how has it been for you and, you know, looking at your clients' businesses? How would you sum up the past 12 months?
Yeah, the most challenging of 20 years, definitely. I've worked in HR in 2 recessions before now. 3 recessions, which is always challenging. But this year, you know, as soon as Boris opened his mouth, I was getting phone calls, and I was going, "I don't know either." I'm sorry. Give it 3 days till he brings out the guidance, and then I'll be able to tell you. But yeah, the furlough scheme obviously was the biggest challenge at the beginning, because to me, furloughing is an American term for unpaid layoff, and we have unpaid layoff in the UK. And all of a sudden, they started using this American term, which I think confused a lot of people for the first few hours. So there's all that, and there's lots of rules and regulations around it. So it's not just, oh, right, everybody go home and we're going to pay you 80%. There's a lot of paperwork and things for businesses to do. So it's quite complicated.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But obviously, like you said, if you're coming up to your 2nd year birthday and one of them years has been through all that, I think you're all right, love. You know, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think you're all right. So I am saying the word so loads today. I did mention our squishies, didn't I? And you've got one in the background. Yes, I love
branded. These. They're branded as well, aren't they?
Yeah, mine's on brand. Look at me flashing the underside of it. So I love these. For anyone that doesn't know, it has a happy side and it has an angry side. How cool's that?
So the question is, how often is yours that way in proportion to that way?
We're not answering that question because Mr. Quackers might be watching.
We don't use that side.
Oh, wow. So we've got Cara saying thank you for my good morning. You're very welcome, Cara. Chelsea White, good morning. Ruth is my fairy godmother. That's what we like to hear. And Cara, I like that. I has rain. I like that, Cara. You know, good use of your words. Yeah, good use of your words. So, obviously, the reason I am honestly every time now I'm going to say the word "sir," I can spot it out. Why is I'm going to dive straight into it today? Why is HR so important in general? First of all, why is HR so important?
So many answers to that question. So in a big business, when you've got lots of staff, everybody always thinks about HR being the ones that say no to things, and they're the ones that make everybody stick to the rules. But a big part of it nowadays is staff welfare. And that's the bit I really, really enjoy doing. And nobody likes making redundancies, you know, that's awful. But when you can help support somebody that's struggling with something, I really enjoy that bit. But for small businesses, I think the the key thing about having somebody from HR help you out is making sure that you're protected legally.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do take on that first-time employee, that it all goes a bit wrong, that you've got your contracts in place, you've got your policies in place, and if you follow those, then you're not going to end up in tribunal, which is where we don't want anybody to be.
No, do you know what for me? HR, if you said this to any, and I know and work with lots of small business owners, some of them just sole traders, and if you said HR to them, they'd be like, why do I need HR? Like, what? Why? I'm like, well, do you have any staff? Do you bring anyone on board? Like, what avenue are you going down? Like, well, why do I need a HR department? So
I think even if you're a sole trader, I'm a sole trader.
Yep.
But you should have a contract in place with anybody you're contracting with.
Mm-hmm.
Quite easily, you can accidentally become an employee of somebody else, especially with IR35 legislation coming in April, finally, which I won't bang on about too much because it's quite boring. Basically, your employment status, whether you're genuinely working for yourself or inadvertently you're employed by the bigger entity that you're subcontracting with. And there's lots of free advice out there on it at the minute. If you're a member of the FSB, they'll help you out. If you can go to look at ACAS at the .gov website, there's a test tool.
Okay.
You can put your situation through, and it will tell you if you're genuinely self-employed. So yeah, just little things like that, so you don't accidentally get yourself into a situation you didn't want to be in.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And I guess that you have probably got, and honestly, so when you're on this show, by the way, I do have a giant prodding stick. Honestly, I'm just going to keep prodding away, right? I bet you have got one or two horror stories. I bet you have got one or two horror stories for HR. Is there any you can share with us right now? Off the top of your head?
I'll share one that might help people out a bit.
Oh yeah, go with that one. Go with that one. Yeah, go on.
Because obviously client confidentiality, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm always banging on about not using templates off Google.
Okay.
There's free templates. If you want a contract of employment, yes, you can come to me, and I would love to write it for you and tailor it to your business. But you can get one off the ACAS website. You can get one, like I said, if you're an FSB member or a Chambers member, there are templates on there that are up-to-date current templates. Yes, you then need to know how to amend that template for your own business. So there's a bit of knowledge involved there. But I did have a client who came to me ages ago and said, how much? And I said, how much? And he went, can't do that in a minute. Went away and Googled, and then came back to me about 6 months later with a staff problem. And I said, well, I need to read the contract and the handbook and see what you've said. The two documents didn't even say the same things. The holiday year in one ran differently to the holiday year in the other. And the contract of employment, I think, was an American one, so it wasn't even UK legislation. You know, it was just... So it really is worth taking advice if you don't know what you're looking at. But it doesn't have to be paid advice. There is free resources. So,
do you know, you keep mentioning someone here, and a lot of people don't know this about me. I'm a massive advocate for the FSB. You know, and just to point out, the FSB, compared to like you, I know you're saying, you know, they have got these documents. They have HR tools, but they are not someone that is as hands-on, for example, like yourself, Ruth, to actually help someone look after their business. Not. And I'm a massive advocate for the FSB. But first of all, good morning, Lorraine Kaplan. How are you, my gorgeous lady?
hello.
So the FSB, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the Federation of Small Businesses. And I'm actually, I get most of my clients to sign up with the FSB because I'm a massive advocate for them. Another similar one that a lot of people hear of is the Chamber of Commerce. And every city or area pretty much has a Chamber of Commerce as well. And the FSB, you know, I learned a horror story from in my local area, which is how I came across them. You know, I came across them in my area. And you can share it. It was all public, etc. So this man, for example, hired this guy, you know, it was part of the FSB. He hired this guy to come work for him. It was great. It was absolutely amazing. Really good member of staff. And then about 3 to 6 months down the line, he'd done something wrong. He needed to do a disciplinary. So this guy contacted the FSB and gone, hey, what's the procedure? What do I need to do? And they've got like a document portal. And they went, right, bit similar to you. What's your handbook? What you got? Blah, blah, blah. Right, let's look at everything, and these are the procedures you need to do. We've got that little bit, but you need to go and do it because we don't do it for you, right?
Yeah.
Which is obviously the difference, for example, with you. And he did it, and he followed all of them, their advice, and there was, you know, it was step 1 in disciplinary, like verbal warning, written warning, blah blah blah.
Well done.
And then, yeah, well done. Yeah, so I do know some of my stuff, and it's at that point the person didn't get better, and this person wanted to then get rid of them. You know, they wanted to then go, you're not right for here anymore. You know, you're not right. So I'm right. Well, have you done everything we've done? Yeah, blah blah blah. Right, this is what you need to do. You can get rid of them. This person ended up taking them to court, saying, you know, unfair dismissal. But what the FSB did, the FSB represented them in court, not the employee, the employer. They represent the employer in court. So it was like, well, you've followed everything we've given you. We've followed you all, you know, followed all of our advice. We will support you in court. So I like to explain the FSB as like a mini kind of insurance policy / union for business owners. Like that's how I personally see it. And with that, the employer lost at court. That day, the court was in favour of the employee. And you might be thinking, Callum, this isn't really like a positive like talk for the FSB at all, is it? The FSB paid all the fees, all 30,000 of it. And they paid it because like you followed our advice just that day, the court was in favour of the employee. Yeah. So you followed all of our advice. And this is why it's so important, isn't it, Ruth, to have this support around you, such as, you know, yourself, HR advisor, your own HR person, the FSB, Chamber of Commerce. It's so important to have these people around you, isn't it?
It is. And there's I think quite a lot of the time people will pay big companies like Peninsula for that protection, and you get it with your under 200 quid FSB membership. You know, it's the difference is that, yes, they're not as, you can't just ring them up 10 times a day with every question, but they do offer protection if you're using their documentation and following their advice. I was going to say something else about them then. Yeah, the other thing is there is a helpline, so if you get stuck, you can quickly ring. I think the difference is with using somebody like myself is you get that personal service, so you can sit and talk through a problem for an hour if needs be, whereas with those you get a quick call on the helpline. So there is some difference. And the thing with being taken to court as well is sometimes you can do everything right and there's a tiny loophole, or there's been a recent bit of case law that's changed things, and then it impacts on your case. So it's not always completely straightforward. And this year's going to be interesting. I was reading something like the 40,000 claims already COVID related, waiting to go through tribunal. Don't want to be a bit case law this year.
That's insane. Like, that's absolutely insane. So what would you, stop myself saying sir then, what would you say to anyone that, you know, would be watching this now or is watching this on replay or anything like that? Possibly if we base this at SMEs, small to medium sized businesses, what advice would you give to them right now? Don't just have to be one tip. What advice would you give to them? I
would say educate yourself on what free advice is out there. I've rattled loads off, and we've talked about the FSB, which isn't free, it is membership, but ACAS is. So, and the .gov website, funnily enough, does have some useful stuff on it. You know, just go and have a look at those places. And if you're not understanding it, still not sure, then that's when you can reach out to somebody like me. But education is key. If you go in completely ignorant, you're going to make mistakes. And it's much, much better to be informed up front and get things right from the start. So
I love it. And, you know, just in case people are thinking, okay, but what could Ruth actually help me with? You know, what could Ruth, or a HR advisor in general, what could they actually help me with? Am I using the right term saying advisor, by the way? Like,
I prefer advisor. Consultant has a bit of a old man in a grey suit term to me.
Yeah. So, you know, with an HR advisor, what do you and could you help with?
So, okay, give you an example. Some of the stuff I did just yesterday. So I delivered, finished a project delivering a first-time employer package, which was contract of employment, staff handbook, and all the documentation you need surrounding that. So things like if they're off sick, a sickness self-certificate and a return to work questionnaire, a holiday request, a checklist at the start of employment to make sure you've got all the documentation and things in place that you need. So that's sort of very first off, and then I quite often say I solve people problems. So a lot of my time is spent with people saying, I've got a question, I'm going to challenge you. Had to deal with a death in service, unfortunately, recently, and doing some recruitment, which I love. And there is quite a lot of that out there, actually. Obviously, it's very sector specific. But if you're looking at taking on someone for the first time, is it an employee you need, or could you subcontract? Are you going to put somebody on a fixed term contract, a 0 hours contract? What is the best setup for you and your business?
Love it. Ruth, thank you so much for coming on the show. Don't run off anywhere. I'm going to kick you backstage and we'll have a bit of a natter afterwards. How does that sound?
Thank you.
It's all right. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I love that lady. Honestly, she is fantastic. So that was Ruth Buckley from Truth HR. So make sure you go and find her on LinkedIn. I think you can find her on Facebook. You can find her website. You can find her everywhere. So you've been watching Kwak TV, because why watch Kwak TV when you can watch Kwak TV? And tomorrow's guest, we have Bethan Trevette from Wonderbar, who is alcohol. Let me say that again. Alcohol. So tomorrow, make sure you tune in for Bethan. She does cocktail bars, etc. at events. And I really cannot wait to get Bethan on the show. So with no further ado, have a lovely day. If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.